What it do, flight crew? FTC. Flight team stand up! I still ain't sober. It's October. Hey, you guys, we got some educational ish. I know you guys are back in school, but check me out, man. I'm the best substitute teacher that you will possibly ever witness, experience. Now, my simple rules is, you got your electronics, iPhones, Androids, Nanos, Apple, iTunes, LimeWire, this and that. Look, man. Hey, you don't know what LimeWire is, man. You too young, bro. Oh, man, you missed out on good times. But look, check me out. If administrators walk in, hide that shit, because if they take it away, I don't see nothing. I didn't even know you had it out. No, I don't care, but they care. Make sure you put it away if they come in the door. Due to school district rules, I can't just lock my classroom and, you know what I'm saying, wait for them to knock on the door. I wish I could do that, then you guys would get a heads up, but hey, look, bro, that's school district stuff. Look, okay? We got some interesting-ish right now. This probably low-key is my most anticipated educational-ish section that we're about to cover, right? You know what I'm saying? Now, it's crazy because, first, I did something similar, kind of reacting to something like this back in the day. I don't remember when I did it, but I did it. But I basically reacted to something like, what if all the ice melted in the world, or something around that? You know, we all found out and figured out that basically, you know, all the ice melted in the world, the ocean would rise up so many feet, and it basically would cover the entire Statue of Liberty, like in New York. You know what I'm saying? So you guys, if you've been to New York before, you know how big the Statue of Liberty is, and they showed it, and basically, you know, the water was damn near over the entire thing, you know, and that's going to cause huge flooding, this and that, if global warming gets any worse, okay? So something never crossed my head to where, what the heck is up underneath that ice? Like, is it being like stationed under something? Like, is something being man-made, frozen to purposely leave that piece of chunk of ice just sitting there? Because you can't, you know, it's illegal to actually go to Antarctica. I don't think you can just like physically like get a plane and fly to Antarctica. There's no hotels there. You're gonna be sleeping with the polar bears, just paying, you know, like you won't be able to. So what is underneath that ice, bro? You know what I'm saying? This is another example why I tell people and always try to, because I'm not gonna sit up here and have a huge debate about it because I don't really care, but this is prime example. I'm trying to tell you guys, you heard it from me. The earth is round. The earth is not flat, it is round. You know what I'm saying? Because if the earth was flat, you know what I'm saying, the ice wouldn't be able to just stay, you know what I'm saying, leveled. If you look at the earth and how it's round, the ice is literally in a whole sphere. You know what I'm saying? It's in a whole sphere the way it goes. So we gonna see what's possibly underneath the earth. Is it like a secret tunnel? Is it too hot underneath there? Is it the earth's core? Who knows, bro? But look, man, let's check it out.
Time in this place, you may need to consider taking health precautions, such as having your wisdom teeth removed or getting an appendectomy in advance. There are absolutely no reptiles or amphibians here, and all land mammals are brought exclusively by humans. There's been no rain here for almost 2 million years, but at the
Can you imagine that, bro? No rain in a certain... I didn't even know that. I thought it rains in Antarctica, but it just is so cold that it snows, and snow is rain, is frozen water. So, how does that certain part of Earth not rain for 2 million years and you maintain that? That does... You know what I'm saying? This is what I'm trying to tell you guys. Like, it's something fishy, bro. How do you maintain... How does that even possible? How does you say... It rains everywhere on the earth and it's just perfectly on the bottom of the earth, it's just not gonna rain there?
Same time,
I don't know.
80% of the world's freshwater reserves are stored here.
Really?
Antarctica, the coldest
Look,
and
this is what I'm trying to tell you, bro. Look,
the most mysterious continent on the planet. Over the past
it's literally on the bottom of the earth. And you know why Antarctica is cold? Here's a fun fact. It's because the sun is not able to see. If the earth was flat, the sun will be able to perfectly cover every part of the earth in a nice, even cooked bake. Just like if you cook some cookies in the oven, you know what I'm saying, or some baked chicken, or, you know, anything. It's going to evenly bake, especially if you're able to rotate it over, you know what I'm saying? But Antarctica is so on the bottom of the earth only rotates in a sphere. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to give you a circle. You know what I'm saying? I'm just use some honey mustard sauce from Chick-fil-A. You know what I'm saying? No. Wait. I have a sphere, a circle somewhere, man. An example. Damn it! I'm just using my fist. That's the best earth. The Earth literally turns like this 24 hours on a daily basis. I can't turn my wrist around the full way. Okay? If I was able to do that, it would have been a problem. So the Earth basically turns a full 360 sphere, bro. And you get the United States and then South America that gets warmed up. And then half of the other 24 hours, you get Europe. You know what I'm saying? You get Africa. You know what I'm saying? Then you get, China and then Australia and then the other, you know what I'm saying? Like on the other side. And it's a perfect sphere doing that all the time. The Earth doesn't rotate, in all different directions and all this, because then the ice would have been melted, bro. That's what I'm trying to tell guys. Like, the Earth is 100% round. The ice is literally on the bottom of the Earth and it's just never turning over,
Past century, humanity has studied its surface quite well, but we all know that what's most interesting is usually hidden deep beneath. When scientists decided to look under the ice cover of Antarctica, what they saw there surprised not only ordinary people like me, but also the researchers themselves.
When I'm about 50 years old, I'm gonna visit Antarctica. Maybe, like 50, 60 years old, I'm gonna visit Antarctica and the Bermuda Triangle and see what it's all about.
So what is hidden deep beneath these huge sheets of ice? For a long time, scientists have believed that under the immense thickness of ice, there's nothing particularly interesting. At most, maybe some small, scattered pockets of subglacial groundwater. However, the expectations that researchers had in the 90s have been exceeded. As it turns out, under the ice of Antarctica, there's a whole lake, and it's also quite large, about 5,800 square meters.
How is there water on top of water? How is there water on top of water, bro?
Miles, or 15,000 square kilometers, which is about 1.5 times the size of the island of Cyprus. The depth of the reservoir reaches 4,000 feet, over 1,200 meters. This is only 1,450 feet, or 442 meters less than in the deepest lake on the planet, Baikal. Since this reservoir was discovered near the Russian polar station Vostok, the lake was also called Vostok. This giant pond is hidden under a huge layer of ice with a thickness of 11,886 feet, or 3,623 meters.
What?
For this reason, the researchers did not expect to find even the smallest signs of life in such harsh conditions. After all, the temperature near the lake reaches minus 128.2 degrees Fahrenheit.
Negative
minus
128.
89 Celsius. The ice pressure exceeds the pressure of the icy crust of the moons of Jupiter, and sunlight never breaks through to the surface of the lake. In addition, the concentration of nitrogen and oxygen is 50 times higher than in ordinary freshwater lakes. Few organisms living on planet Earth can survive in such an adverse environment. However, scientists still managed to find life in such extreme conditions. At the same time, it was completely unlike anything we had ever seen before. Researchers have discovered a new type of bacteria, which was given the name W123-10. The DNA of this organism is only 86% identical to other living things on planet Earth.
Wow.
The reason is that the lake was isolated from the rest of the world for several million years.
What?
So the bacteria found there developed separately from all living organisms on our planet. Researchers later discovered that there were traces of about 3,500 species of living organisms in the lake. This
What?
number is disputed by some scientists, but the very fact of the existence of different forms of life has led researchers to a very important hypothesis. Since there are probably such lakes under the ice of Mars and the satellite of Jupiter, Europa, it's quite possible that life could also exist in those places. By the way, Vostok is far from the only subglacial lake. Willans and Ellsworth are two other large lakes in Antarctica. According to John Priscu, a professor of polar ecology from the University of Montana, the total number of ice lakes might be as many as 400. However, not all cavities under the ice of Antarctica are filled with water. One of these places is located under the glaciers of Marie Byrd Land. This is the Bentley Depression, which is the deepest continental point on the planet that is not filled with liquid water, about 8,215 feet, or 2,540 meters below sea level. Similar discoveries were made with the help of space sensors, which scan the relief of Antarctica in both directions. As it turned out, the ice is distributed very unevenly. The ice of eastern Antarctica is slightly thicker, from 25 to 30 miles, or 40 to 48 kilometers. And in the western part of the continent, the ice thickens to between 12 and 22 miles, or 19 and 35 kilometers. Such heterogeneity is due to the fact that under the ice of eastern Antarctica, a whole cemetery is hiding, consisting of the remains of the ancient supercontinent of Gondwana. Scientists call these remains cratons, which are the stable rocky cores of the continents that survived hundreds of millions of years of destructive tectonic activity of the Earth. There are at least 3 such cratons in East Antarctica. One of them is very similar to the rocks of Australia, the second to India, and the third to the seabed. Perhaps these fragments came together a billion years ago when the supercontinent Rodinia formed, or maybe 500 million years ago with the advent of Gondwana.
Bro, that's crazy. Do you know that literally you can drive around the world without having to fly back in the day, man? And just because there were so many earthquakes, it just shifted the entire land, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm at, you know, it's crazy too that in another certain amount of million years, it's going to repeat itself, but then it's going to be brought back together. So meaning the United States and South America, and, you know, Europe and Africa, and then, you know, China and Australia, they're basically going to come together again and meet. You know what I'm saying? Because you see how it's separated. You know, it started out together and it's separated. And it's going to come back together again. Just like a toxic relationship with like an ex.
In any case, cratons were part of the continents that formed after the collapse of Gondwana 160 million years ago.
Wow.
Scientists didn't limit their research to observations from outer space and decided to drill a hole in order to study the secrets of Antarctica more closely. The research team used a special 2-foot, about 60 centimeter wide drill with hot water. Using this tool, after 63 hours of continuous operation, scientists were able to drill a hole with a depth of 7,060 feet. That's about 2,152 meters. Then, the researchers measured the water pressure and the ice temperature, as well as the degrees of its deformation. Thanks to this, scientists hope to determine when the last time was that the ice sheet of Antarctica disappeared, and when this might happen again. Also, the scientists plan to drill a few more holes. However, holes also appear in Antarctica that are not man-made. A few years ago, the whole world was alarmed by a huge hole of about 3,700 square miles, or 9,583 square kilometers in size. This is almost twice the size of the state of Rhode Island. Scientists have not seen such giant holes since the 1970s, so they could not immediately identify the cause of this hole that researchers called wormwood. However, an answer was soon found. It was caused by a cyclone. In September 2017, streams of warm and cold air collided.
A cyclone in fucking Antarctica?
Resulting in the formation of swirling winds reaching a speed of 72 miles or 117 kilometers per hour. Such powerful turbulence created huge waves of up to 52 feet or 16 meters high, which in turn pushed out large chunks of ice and thereby formed a huge hole. In addition, strong winds brought warm water to the cold Lazarev Sea, in which there are ice massifs. As a result, the ice began to melt, which also contributed to the emergence of a hole. Soon, it will grow to 37,000 square miles. That's about 95,829 square kilometers, and will then be about the size of Ireland. Torgay Martin, a meteorologist and climate
it's like short and yo.
Center for Ocean
Shout out,
Research
Jordan.
in Kiel, Germany, believes that the number of cyclones that trigger these holes will only increase in the future. At the same time, given climate change, refreezing of holes will be much slower, so the ice melt in Antarctica will accelerate.
Wow.
However, Diana Francis, a specialist in atmospheric climate, believes that we shouldn't be afraid of this. On the contrary, the formation of such holes promotes better circulation between the ocean and the atmosphere. And for Antarctic animals such as penguins or seals, this opens up new food sources. But at the same time, Francis does not deny that the large size of holes affects the circulation of the ocean and therefore could lead to global climate change. So scientists will continue to observe from space to try to be able to control the state of this ice continent. One of these
What do you mean control the state of this ice continent, man? What do you mean? So you're just saying that they just pretty much said that there's man-made shit going on this earth. Okay then. Is that what we needed to hear?
The ocean, and therefore could lead to global climate change. So scientists will continue to observe from space to try to be able to control the state of this ice continent.
Control the state of, so now you're trying to control how much of a piece of ice is gonna last. Man, yo, I just hope it doesn't backfire with this man-made shit, bro.
One of these observations.
And now I'm thinking about it, because they just talked about a cyclone. How does even any rain? Look, a cyclone. They just literally said that they do man-made shit. Like they literally man-made weather, hurricanes, cyclones, all that type of stuff. They just literally admitted it's all man-made right here, bro. If it didn't rain in 200 billion, trillion, whatever they said, how many million years? Okay. Cyclones have rain. A cyclone or hurricane, just the same thing. Cyclone is just a weaker hurricane. So basically a weaker hurricane, bro. Any hurricane has water. It's just a whole bunch of water and wind mixed together under warm water temperature. So how the hell does it even get warm in the first place for a cyclone to form? Think about that shit, bro. Like, I'm not even sitting up here. I'm not one of these dudes that try to, like, break down conspiraciness and all. It's just, I don't have time for that. But, bro, they just literally just admitted that they literally man-made weather right now. The weather is literally controlled by somebody right now. That is crazy, bro.
In 2019, and it seems to have inspired some hope. Researchers have noticed a mountain-like geological structure that separates the western and eastern parts of Antarctica. This line protects the largest glacier in Antarctica, the Ross Glacier, from the entry of warm water, and prevents large chunks of ice from spreading into the ocean. If not for this dividing line, the rate of entry of Antarctic subglacial groundwater into the ocean would increase by 20%, which could lead to an increase in global sea level by 38 feet.
Damn.
Or 11.6 meters. But this does not necessarily mean that we're completely safe. After all, next to the giant glacier, there's also another hole, which causes intense melting of the glacier in the summer months. Therefore, it seems quite possible that the complete melting of Antarctica is only a matter of time. Despite the fact that Antarctica is so far from most of us, our future completely depends
What
on
the
this
hell was
continent.
staring at me
This
like
is
that?
80% of the world's freshwater reserves, and if they go into the ocean, even cities that are the farthest from Antarctica will sink underwater. If you want
Oh my
a future
gosh.
video on this subject, let me know.
Hey,
in the
man, what do
comments.
y'all think about that, man? That's just, man, coming out below as you're at